Hey everyone, let's travel back in time thousands of years to explore ancient China. The story of China is super long and interesting. At the heart of this story are the dynasties, which were like powerful families that ruled for a long time. Three of these dynasties were super important in building Chinese civilization: the Xia, the Shang, and the Zhou. These guys lived near the Yellow River, and their stories are mixed with myths and legends. The Xia dynasty is the first one, and it's kinda mysterious. We don't know everything about them, but they started everything. Next came the Shang dynasty. They were amazing artists who made beautiful bronze objects. They also used oracle bones to try to tell the future. Then, the Zhou dynasty came along. They had this big idea called the Mandate of Heaven, which we'll talk about later. During their time, lots of important thinkers and philosophers started sharing their ideas. Changing from one dynasty to the next wasn't always easy. There were fights and power struggles. But each dynasty learned from the one before it, and slowly, a special Chinese identity began to form. During this time, farming got better, cities grew bigger, and people developed writing and government. Even today, we can still see the influence of these early dynasties in Chinese culture. Their stories are full of emperors and empires, new ideas and old traditions, and the very beginning of one of the world's greatest civilizations. Let's start with the Xia dynasty, a time that's almost like a legend. The Xia dynasty is a big mystery. Old stories and traditions talk about them, but we haven't found much real proof that they existed. These stories tell us about a time when China was changing from small villages into a more organized place. The leader of the Xia dynasty was a legendary guy named Yu the Great. He was known for being super smart and a great engineer. Yu is famous for stopping the terrible floods of the Yellow River. This made him the ruler and a symbol of a good leader. Even though we don't have a lot of proof about the Xia dynasty, archaeologists are still digging up clues that show a complex society was forming back then. They've found things like old irrigation systems and traces of early towns. Whether the Xia dynasty is just a legend or a real thing, it's a really important part of Chinese culture. It shows the change from mythical stories to real history. The stories of the Xia dynasty, passed down for generations, helped build Chinese civilization and taught people about good leadership and working together. The Shang dynasty comes after the Xia, and it's the start of recorded history in China. Unlike the Xia, the Shang left behind tons of evidence of their amazing culture. Archaeologists have discovered old palaces, fancy tombs, and workshops where they made beautiful bronze objects. These bronze pieces, often decorated with cool designs and mythical creatures, show how skilled the Shang people were with metal. They used these bronzes for religious ceremonies, to show off their power, and even as everyday tools. These bronzes aren't just beautiful, they also tell us about the Shang dynasty's religion, society, and technology. Something else really cool about the Shang dynasty was their oracle bone divination. They would write questions on turtle shells or animal bones, then heat them up until they cracked. Special people called diviners would look at the cracks and say they were answers from the gods or ancestors. They would ask about things like the government, wars, and even everyday problems. These oracle bones, which have survived for thousands of years, teach us about the Shang's beliefs, worries, and even their writing, which was already pretty advanced. The Shang dynasty, with its amazing bronze work, unique divination, and advanced society, was a big step forward for Chinese civilization. The Zhou dynasty lasted longer than any other dynasty in Chinese history. They brought many big changes to China's government, society, and culture. The Zhou defeated the Shang dynasty, saying the Shang kings had become bad rulers and lost the support of heaven. This idea is called the Mandate of Heaven, and it was a really important idea in China for a long time. The Mandate of Heaven said that a ruler's power came from heaven, not just from their family. If a ruler was bad, heaven could take away their power. This meant that it was okay to rebel against bad rulers, and it was important for rulers to be good and take care of their people. The Zhou dynasty had a system where the king gave land to nobles in exchange for their loyalty and soldiers. This worked for a while, but eventually, those nobles became too powerful, and the empire started to break apart. Even with these problems, the Zhou dynasty was a time of great thinkers and new ideas. Important philosophies like Confucianism and Taoism started during this time. These philosophies explored ideas about being a good person, government, nature, and what it means to be human. They shaped Chinese thinking for thousands of years. The Xia, Shang, and Zhou dynasties, even though they were separated by time and are sometimes just legends, all helped build Chinese civilization. Each dynasty added something special to Chinese culture, shaping how the government worked, how society was organized, and the important ideas people believed in. The Xia dynasty, even though we don't know a lot about them for sure, started the idea of a united China. The stories from this time, especially the story of Yu the Great, showed how important it was to have a strong leader and to respect nature. The Shang dynasty left behind real proof of their advanced civilization, showing their skills in bronze making, writing, and organizing their society. Their oracle bones teach us about their beliefs and their connection to the spiritual world. The Zhou dynasty, the longest of the three, gave us the important idea of the mandate of heaven. This idea changed how people thought about government, saying that rulers needed to be good and take care of their people. The Zhou dynasty was also a time of great thinkers, with Confucianism and Taoism starting during this time. These philosophies would be incredibly important to Chinese culture and values for centuries to come. The Xia, Shang, and Zhou dynasties, each in their own way, changed the course of Chinese history. Their new ideas, beliefs, and governments built the foundation for a civilization that would become famous for its rich culture, important philosophies, and long-lasting impact on the world.